Why were 80s PC command line interfaces so complex? Imagine sitting in front of a computer in the 1980s, ready to do something simple like copy a file or run a program. But instead of clicking icons, you had to type out exact commands. That's because early personal computers like the IBM Personal Computer and the Apple Roman II used operating systems such as MS-DOS and Apple IIs. These systems didn't have the fancy graphics or menus we're used to today. Instead, everything was text-based, and you had to remember the right commands to get things done. If you made a typo, the computer wouldn't understand you and might give an error. It was like learning a new language, and that made things tricky at first. The hardware of the time also played a big role. Computers had very limited memory and processing power. They couldn't handle the graphics needed for a graphical user interface. Using a command line was much more efficient because it used less memory and processing power. So, even though it was harder to learn, it was the best way to get the most out of these early machines. The screens could only display text, and the computers had small storage capacities, often just a few hundred kilobytes to a few megabytes. That's tiny compared to today's standards, but it was enough for the command line to be the main way to interact. Another reason for the complexity was the design goal of giving users more control. Command line interfaces allowed users to do very specific things with detailed instructions. Commands often had switches or options, like copy to copy directories or del to delete files with prompts. Users needed to understand these options to use the system effectively. It was like having a toolkit with many different tools, but you had to know which one to pick and how to use it. File management was also a challenge. Instead of clicking through folders, users navigated directories with commands like cd for change directory. Managing files involved commands like copy, move, or delete. These commands were not visual, so understanding the hierarchy of folders and files was abstract and sometimes confusing. It was a learning curve, but mastering it gave users a sense of power and control over their computers. Many early users found the command line intimidating at first, but it was also part of the charm. It was a way to truly understand how the computer worked. Learning the commands felt like learning a new language, and it gave a sense of achievement once mastered. Manuals and help commands were essential because remembering all the syntax was tough. Features like command history or tab completion were either very basic or not available, which added to the challenge. In the end, the complexity of 1980s PC command line interfaces came from the need to work within hardware limits, the desire for control and flexibility, and the absence of graphical interfaces. It was a different time, but it laid the foundation for the more user-friendly systems we enjoy today. Many early computer enthusiasts look back fondly on those days because mastering the command line was like unlocking a secret world inside the machine.